Boston, Massachusetts, 2017. The school auditorium was almost empty when Daniel Kim sat down at the piano. He was 12, small, quiet, and hiding his left hand inside the sleeve of his jacket. Daniel had been born with polydactyly, one extra finger, not a tiny bump, not a small piece of skin, a real finger. It moved. It bent. It followed his hand like it had always belonged there. When he was younger, doctors told his parents it could be removed. His mother almost agreed. Then Daniel started playing piano, and the extra finger did something nobody expected. It gave him reach. A strange reach. A reach that made some chords easier for him than they were for everyone else. At school, kids called it creepy. They asked to see it. They asked if it hurt. One boy told him his hand looked fake, so Daniel learned to hide it. Until the spring talent show, his music teacher chose a piece most adults struggled to play. Daniel said no at first. Then he sat down. The room went quiet. His sleeve slipped back. The extra finger touched the keys. And for 3 minutes, the thing he had spent his whole life hiding became the thing everyone watched. Not with disgust, with silence. The good kind. Afterward, a younger kid walked up and asked if Daniel had a superhero hand. Daniel looked at his fingers, all 11 of them, and for the first time, he did not pull the sleeve back down.
I Hero. Sapporo, Japan. March 2024. The water in the canal looked normal. Clear. Cold. Still, a thin layer of snow sat along the concrete edges. People crossed the bridge without stopping. Cars passed behind them. Nothing looked dangerous. Except to Yuki Tanaka. Yuki was 14, and she had always seen colors other people missed. Not imaginary colors, small differences. A white wall was never just white. A blue jacket was never just blue. Snow had layers. Glass had shadows. Even black ink looked different depending on the paper. Doctors had once told her parents she might have an unusual form of enhanced color perception, possibly tetrachromacy. Maybe not dramatic. Maybe not the kind people turn into myths, but enough. Enough that supermarkets felt too bright. LED signs looked sharp, and sunlight on snow made her tired before lunch. That afternoon, Yuki stopped halfway across the bridge. There was a line in the water. Thin. Green-gray, almost invisible. Her father saw nothing. A passing man saw nothing. Even the first police officer who arrived saw nothing. But Yuki would not leave. She kept pointing at the current. 2 hours later, a testing crew found a chemical leak from a cracked pipe upstream. Small. Early. But real. If it had traveled farther, it would have reached a larger water system by morning. The local paper called Yuki the girl with superhero eyes. She did not like that. She said she did not see a prettier world. She saw a louder one. And sometimes buried inside all that noise, there was a warning. Hyperacusis. Lagos, Nigeria, July 2025. The church was packed. Hundreds of people were singing. The speakers were too loud. The fans were turning overhead. The floor shook with clapping. For most people, it was a normal Sunday service. For Amara Okafor, it was almost unbearable. Amara heard everything. Too much of everything. The electric buzz inside old wires. A phone vibrating inside someone's bag. Shoes dragging across tile. A child whispering 3 rows behind her. Doctors had called it hyperacusis. Her hearing was not magic. Her brain simply could not filter sound the way other people's brains did. Traffic hurt. Markets felt like storms. A dropped spoon could make her cover her ears and cry. At school, people called her sensitive. At home, neighbors told her to toughen up. But Amara was not weak. The world was just louder for her. That morning, while the choir sang, she heard something else. A crack. Small. Dry. High above the crowd. Then another. Not from the speakers. Not from the floor. From the ceiling beams. She looked up. Nobody else did. The singing continued. Amara pushed through the aisle and ran to the front. The pastor tried to calm her. She grabbed the microphone. Move, she said. At first, people only stared. Then the beam cracked again. This time, everyone heard it. The front rows emptied in panic. 3 minutes later, part of the ceiling collapsed exactly where people had been standing. No one died. Afterward, people said Amara had super hearing. She said no. She had no silence. And that was the part nobody understood. Some powers do not feel like powers. They feel like being unable to turn the world off.
Autobiographical.
Buenos Aires, Argentina, November 2021. The plaza was crowded when the little girl disappeared. Street musicians. Food carts. Parents talking. Children running between pigeons. By the time her mother noticed she was gone, 10 minutes had passed. That was enough. Police checked cameras from nearby shops. The footage was messy. Too many people. Too many faces. Too many directions. Then someone remembered Mateo Ruiz. Mateo had been in the plaza that afternoon. He was 18, and he remembered things in a way that made people uncomfortable. A birthday from 10 years ago. The shirt someone wore on a random Wednesday. The exact words from an argument everyone else had tried to forget. Doctors believed Mateo had a rare autobiographical memory condition similar to hyperthymesia. People called it a gift. Mateo did not. Because remembering everything means carrying everything. Every insult stayed fresh. Every funeral stayed close. Every embarrassing moment waited behind his eyes like it had happened yesterday. When detectives asked what he saw in the plaza, Mateo closed his eyes. Not for long. Half a second. Then he spoke. A man with a blue backpack. A white van near the corner. A torn sticker on the rear window. A street musician stopped playing when the van passed. That was why Mateo remembered the turn. Left! Not right. Left! Police followed the detail. The girl was found alive that night. The newspapers called Mateo a human camera, but cameras record and forget. Mateo recorded and suffered. That was the truth. His power was not memory. His power was choosing to use the memories that hurt him to save someone else. Rubber body. Naples, Italy. September 2023. The building did not fully collapse. That made it worse. One side still stood. The other side leaned forward like it was thinking about falling. Dust filled the street. People shouted names into broken windows. Somewhere under the ground floor, a little boy was crying. Firefighters found the gap. It was too narrow, too unstable, too dangerous for an adult body. Then Sofia Marino stepped forward. She was 16. Her mother grabbed her wrist. Sofia pulled away. Since childhood, Sofia's body had bent too far. Her fingers curved backward. Her shoulders slipped out of place. Her knees locked at strange angles. Doctors diagnosed a connective tissue disorder similar to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Other children loved the tricks. Bend your thumb to your wrist. Twist your arm. Fold yourself smaller. They saw flexibility. They did not see the braces under her clothes. They did not see the pain after walking too long. They did not see her waking up with a shoulder already half out of place. But that day, the thing that hurt her became the only way in. Sofia lowered herself into the gap. 1 inch at a time, she turned her shoulder forward, pressed her ribs sideways, dragged herself through plaster, wood, and dust. When her shoulder slipped, one firefighter looked away. Sofia did not stop. She reached the boy, tied a rope around his waist, whispered to him until they pulled him out. When Sofia came back, her hand was bleeding. Her shoulder was out. The newspapers called her Elastic Girl. But elastic does not hurt. Sofia did, and that was what made it brave. Resilient. Alexandria, Egypt, August 2022. The fire started in a seafood restaurant near the harbor. A gas leak. A flash. Then smoke rolling through the back room. People ran into the street. Someone shouted that a waiter was still inside. He was trapped behind a fallen shelf. The flames were close. The smoke was lower every second. Nobody could stay inside long enough to reach him. Then Amina El Sayed wrapped a wet cloth around her face and went in. She was 14, and she had grown up without pain. Not without injury, without pain. When Amina was 3, her mother found red footprints on the kitchen floor, broken glass, a cut foot. Amina had kept walking. She had not cried. She had not limped. She had not even looked down. Then came the burns. A hot spoon, a kettle handle, up on them. She touched them and did not pull away. Doctors explained that Amina had a rare condition that stopped pain signals from reaching her brain normally. It sounded like a superpower. It was not. Pain is the body's alarm. Amina's alarm did not ring. Her mother checked her every night. Hands, feet, knees, mouth, cuts, bruises, burns. Anything her daughter's body refused to report. In the restaurant, Amina crawled under the smoke. She was not fireproof. Her skin still burned. Her lungs still fought for air, but pain did not freeze her. She found the waiter and dragged him by both wrists toward the door. Outside, people called her fearless. In the hospital, with burns across her arms, Amina said she was not fearless. She just did not get the warning in time. Her power was never that fire could not hurt her. It was that she could keep moving before her body knew it should stop.